Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, Deb.
Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started here. My name's Deb Neely, and I became president about a year ago. Tom had had enough, so I'm the yeah, yes, exactly. So thank you all for coming to really appreciate it. And as always, please let us know. Stay in touch and let us know what you'd like Sloan's Lake Citizens Group to cover. We're always interested in what you guys want to hear about and learn about. So tonight we have a full agenda. We have Sloan's Lake planning and construction updates with Jessica Andersen and Nick Leader. We'll share updates on various park improvement projects at Sloan's Lake Park, including the boathouse, gun club building, and lake water quality improvement projects. Next, we have impacts of data centers on health, climate, and resources, and state and local policy actions and proposals to address these impacts. Presentation will be by Lauren Swain, Program Director for Physicians for Social Responsibility. We normally have a report by Council Aide Alessandra Dominguez from Amanda Sandoval's office, but she's not going to be here tonight, so we're going to have to wing it a little bit there. There's also a little bit of news on the 23rd Avenue Beer Garden that's coming soon, and our happy hour, and then there will be next month we're going to have the Dragon Festival. We're going to go in depth with the Dragon folks, and there's a lot they have to say, so it'll be very interesting. So for now, we're going to start off with Jessica Andersen, and Jessica Andersen has centered her career on connecting people with nature through the built environment. She began her career as a landscape architect with a focus on healthcare and educational landscapes. After completing her master's in urban and regional planning in 2015, Jessica shifted to the public sector, working as a development review planner and park planner. As the urban ecology planning supervisor for DPR, she leads a passionate team who shape urban public spaces that benefit humans and the trees, bees, and ecosystems that keep Denver a livable city. And then we also have Nick Leader, as I mentioned. Nick, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure, if I can find the unmute button. I am I'm a civil structural engineer. I focused most of my career on construction management and owner's rep work. I am a contingent worker with Denver Parks and Rec, managing the design of the Sloan's Lake boathouse renovation. So I have been fortunate enough to interact with all the Denver Parks and Rec groups, as well as the design team in the community at a few community events, to ensure that this renovation is what the community wants and it comes in under budget and on schedule.
Very good. Thank you. You can get started.
I'm going to pull up a chair in front. It's conversational. Bear with me a second as I share my screen. Hopefully those online can still hear me.
Can everybody hear Jessica okay?
Yep.
Great.
So Nick and I are here to talk about kind of all things Sloan's Lake. There's a lot of different things happening in the design and construction and planning realm with Denver Parks around the lake. So we'll jump right in. You all know this is the map of Sloan. So the blue stars are projects we recently completed. So on the south side, the playground was completed a couple years ago, and the tennis courts were completed.
Yeah. And it might, Oh, let's see. There we go.
Let me stop sharing.
It
and
might
try
be
to
me.
reach.
Okay.
Oh, I was sharing the wrong screen. Let's try this.
That should work. Yep.
Thinking,
Yay.
it's thinking.
Life
Perfect.
is good.
Okay.
Life is good.
Technology issues. So I was just saying the blue stars are recently completed projects. On the north side, we had the boardwalk replacement renovation around the Pelican sculpture. A couple years ago, that wrapped up. And then most recently, what we call bollards and gates to add those nice gates to block off the park roads from vehicular use. So those blue stars are recently completed, and then I'll go through each of the red stars on this map of projects that are in process right now. Okay, so first on the north side, we're working on tennis court and basketball court replacements. So I know these courts have been closed for use for a little while now, but the good news is design is complete, and this project just went out to bidding just this week to our contractors. So we hope to have construction starting probably in Q3 of this year, and then the project will wrap up next year in 2027. So there's a little bit of this map, you can see a little bit of parking renovation along with the court improvement projects there. And then associated with that project, we're working with our partners in Dottie, the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, for improvements at 26th and Tennyson intersection. So some realignment of that park entry road and replacing it is a circular loop drive, so replacing that to be more pedestrian friendly and accommodating to pedestrians and traffic. So that is on a similar schedule of construction, is anticipated to start soon. This is in Dottie's realm, so it's not a park improvement, but we're working hand in hand to make sure those improvements happen at the same time. And then the lake project, which I know I've seen many of your faces around. I've been working on the Sloan's Lake since 2022, I think, at this point. So it's been a handful of years. We started looking at the lake environmental assessment, did some bathymetric mapping. So that means surveying the bottom of the lake to help understand the sediment in the lake and understand other issues around the lake. I know you all are aware of the issues around blue-green algae and sedimentation in the lake. So this is a challenging urban lake environment. And based off all of that assessment over the past 4 or 5 years, we were able to get this project funded through the Vibrant Denver Bond. So thank you to the voters to help us pass that bond funding. This will have $5 million toward lake water quality improvements. So based on the bond language, that does not include dredging of the sediment, but it includes green infrastructure, so treating some of that stormwater that's coming into the lake with plant material and soil material. And our plan right now is to include 2 sediment basins, so 4-base structures that are engineered structures to capture that new sediment coming in. So the goal is to at least we'll stop making the problem worse on some of our major inflow points for sediment. And then doing some what we call landscape transformation, so renovating the lake shore edge. There's areas of erosion that we will repair. There's historic avian structures, which are retaining walls with metal baskets and rock that were holding the shoreline in place. So we'll be removing some of that where it has failed, restoring that bank, adding more native vegetation around the shoreline to help buffer and filter that surrounding edge of landscape. So adding wetlands, again, to help use plant material, use nature to clean our water. So this project right now is at almost 60% design. So we're about halfway through our design process. And construction is anticipated to be maybe in fall of 2027, but likely in spring of 2028. We don't have that timeline fully fleshed out yet, so it depends on our final design and permitting for the lake. This entire lake is a floodplain, so we have a layer of permitting for floodplain review before we can start construction, and that review needs to go to FEMA and federal government, so that timeline can take some time. We hope this should be a simple review because we're repairing. So we're not changing. And so here's a map of some of those areas I was talking about. Everything that's colored with one of these colors is areas we're touching with that bond funding. So our green is areas of potential landscape improvement, adding more of that native plant material. The green is bioswale or catching runoff from the park into a swale to kind of allow it to filter out within park space that looks like landscaping. The purple is that more structured green infrastructure. So those will look more like kind of a depression and a basin to capture stormwater with plant material in it. And then the purple on the west side are those 4 bays I talked about to capture sediment. So we'll be putting a structure in the Sloan Lake drainage way on that southwest corner. Most of the time that structure will be underwater, so you won't see it, but we'll be able to close off that structure on either side to hold the water out, and then our teams can scoop out that sediment to help it to keep it from flowing into the lake. And then the same thing at the Ashland drainage way. So on that northern purple area on this map, that is currently just a solid pipe underground. And it dumps sediment into the lake from the upstream streets, anything that flows into the storm sewer system on our streets, our parking lots, flows into Sloan's Lake right through this pipe directly into the lake. So we're going to open that up, add some more vegetation around this to filter it, and create that capture basin for sediment. So those 2 spaces will have the most structured components of the project, and everything else for the user experience will feel very much like landscaping and adding kind of wetland components and wetland plants. Yes, so one is down here. Can you see my cursor? Okay, perfect. So one is down here in the existing drainage way. So like I said, that one, you likely won't see this on a day-to-day basis. It'll be covered by water, except when we have severe drought, which may happen again. But the idea is to design it so it will be underwater most of the time, but capture sediment underwater. And then the other one is this north one is the Ashland drainage. So right now, this just looks like lawn and you can't see this large pipe underground. So that one will look very I think it's about, I forget the exact dimensions, but it's about 5 feet tall by like the large.
And that's just the Ashland one, correct?
That's just
And that's the biggest offender as far as sediment?
that's what we believe. Yeah.
Okay.
There are, forget the number, 24 or 28 different types, storm sewer pipes that come into the lake at various points on all sides. And those are the 2 biggest inflow. So that's the biggest pipe coming in. The south is obviously that biggest channel. Okay. Any other questions before I move on? Yes.
I think it's quite in the past I've had problem. This is the reflecting. You see, drainage completely in the it's like they use that one.
I can't comment on that, but I hear you.
But I think it's not just here.
Yeah, it is. Slippery algae is a challenge in a lot of shallow just because of a number of factors, but part of it is our climate change. Our climate is changing, it's getting hotter, and that shallow water heats up much faster than deeper water. So because Sloan's is so shallow, filled in from the source, makes that challenging. And because of the urbanization, the surroundings of this lake aren't the same as a pristine mountain lake. It has the development, has the parking lots, our roads, things that are dripping from cars, and dog waste, and to some extent wildlife waste is going in. So there's a lot of those urban inputs that in nature lakes don't have to consider. So it's kind of tricky to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, so primarily when we talk about landscape transformation, we're thinking about switching from our our water thirsty bluegrass that's mown all the time to more of a native shortgrass prairie. So it'll look more like taller grass, potentially more wildflowers, potentially some shrubs. I think we'd like to add more trees around the lake as well. I think anyone who's walked around this lake knows there's not enough shade, so trees would be great too. And especially within the walk toward the shoreline, adding more would things that have habitat and kind of shade water as well as shade people. So we're looking at all of those. This one's
just okay.
Yeah, so it's not typical. Because this is such a big, this one has a lot more inflow points than the other lakes in Denver. And I can't speak to how the history of how all of that came to be, but obviously through development, some of that was approved at some point by the city through development agreements. But if a development was next to this lake now, we would not allow them to put in a new pipe, right? So like at some point, the development regulations changed of how Denver Parks and the city approved that. The past is the past, and we can't fix it all right now. But the goal would be that most of these pipes, instead of going directly into the lake with zero filtration, we pull them back, open them up, and allow them to flow through vegetation to help people. And there shouldn't be any new pipes coming in any of our lakes.
There's other cities.
Yeah, I'm not sure the answer to that question. I was like, yeah. But I think part of it is their deeper lakes are gonna function better. We get a lot more rain. And almost none of our lakes are natural lakes, most of them.
And I'm hearing other people starting to call it something other than a lake, like watershed, which is kind of technically what it is. So that's the difference too, I'm guessing. You know, a lot of probably in Minnesota, they're probably spring fed, would be my guess. So
that's the theory, yeah. For the depth. Right now, the average depth is about 3 feet. It's very shallow. Most of the fish that you see are carp, so a non-native species. Yeah. Oh, great question. Anything else before I move on? So in conjunction with the lake, this bridge in the southwest corner over that Sloan Lake drainage way, that is scheduled for replacement. So again, DPR is partnering with our friends in Dottie to replace this. The goal is to get a design started this year, shoot for about a year of design and then replace in 2027.
that is news.
Based on this schedule, the construction's anticipated to be about a year. I don't know if that potential. Yeah. Once that gets further in design, they'll start planning for the detour route and fine tuning what that will do.
You'll get more exercise though, because you'll have to go around.
Its age, yeah. This bridge is very near the end of its useful life. So our partners in Dottie do bridge inspections on, I think it's a 3-year cadence of inspecting every bridge in the city. And this one has some structural issues that need to be repaired sooner rather than later. What was that? It's bouncy, yeah. I think the bounciness is okay because that's the type of bridge it is. Like some bridges just structurally have that give more, so that's not totally the reason. It's more of the abutments it's sitting on are starting to fail. So this bottom image here, you can see a lot of rust, which is not good for structure. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about crossing now. You can continue to use it as you do now. If it was structurally unsafe, the city would close it and not allow it.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
really good news. They put these kind of bollards in the middle of the walkway. Do you know what I'm talking about? On the bridge, on both sides of the bridge.
I think that's to prevent our maintenance vehicles from
That's
going over.
What is, okay.
So it's safe for pedestrians, and I think those were installed because it's no longer safe for our, our maintenance trucks or equipment to go over.
Makes sense.
Awesome. So continuing on in that southwest corner of the park is our satellite maintenance facility. So right now the park operations team is based out of the boathouse where they have their offices. And to make the boathouse a community space, we need to move our operations team somewhere else. So we will start renovating the what we call the gun club, that little historic building there. Used to be a gun club. And we'll be renovating that for our park maintenance team to move. So that again is out to bid this spring. So we should have a contractor on board in a few months to start construction later this summer. So this is the site plan of kind of that overall renovation of improving our storage yard that's already over there, adding some parking, updating that facility and amenities for our park operations. Yes. CIP stands for Capital Improvement Program. So that means I don't believe this project has any bond funding associated. It's purely general fund. Good question. We sometimes use abbreviations too much and forget not everyone speaks that way.
So they're going, what are they gonna do with all the parked vehicles?
In what, in this location?
Yeah.
So the parking lot shown here will be for our maintenance equipment and staff parking. So
Okay.
anything that's currently parked in that area will be confined within this area, within this.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they changing the look?
The exterior of that
Yes.
building will remain the same.
That's-
I think these are the diagrams. So this image shows, the facade is staying exactly the same, but the interior floor planning will be renovated. And it's mostly, some cubicles, locker rooms, break area, pretty simple upgrade. So that construction is anticipated to start late summer and take a little less than a year. So hopefully spring of 2027, that will be complete. And then the team can move out of the boathouse. And then I think my next slide is turning it over to Nick to talk about the boathouse. So take it away, Nick. I can
Great. Yeah.
flip pages for you.
Thank you so much. So yes, I'm managing the design of the boathouse, and like Jessica said, the boathouse is currently being used by the operations team and the park rangers as kind of their base of operations for the park. And the operations guys are moving, guys and girls are moving to Gun Club, right around the first of the year, January sometime. Even though that's slated to be done in March, the plan, I actually talked to that project manager this morning, and we're still on track for right around the first of the year, get them out. So we're in design right now on the boathouse, and the design team submitted to us their 60% drawings last week, Thursday, Thursday it was, yeah. So those are in for Denver at Parks and Rec quality review right now. So we have 2 weeks to comment on those, and then they'll go back, and we have another submission at 90%. And then at 100% later in the summer, we'll submit for permit, which of course takes a couple months. So our plan is to start construction possibly late Q4 of 2026. Most likely it'll be right around the first of the year. Once we move the operations people out, we'll start construction in there. On the diagram in the middle there that has all the colors, that was just a diagram of how we wanted all the spaces to communicate with each other. That was early in our design, and that led us to the floor plan that's on the right. So basically, half of the building is going to be the community room, very large open event space. Immediately to the east of that, to the right, is an event patio that can be leased along with the community. South of that is a concession area. We're aiming now that bid just went out for concession. No, I'm sorry, there was an a request for information for concessionaires. I think it was 2 weeks ago we held that meeting. And so what we're aiming for in that is light snacks and elevated beverages. So beer taps, wine, that kind of stuff. And then snacks that don't require prep. There'll be a microwave, there'll probably be an air fryer, but no true kitchen there. On the west and southwest is outdoor rec rental area. So it's going to be kind of like a gear library. There'll be kayaks and stand-up paddle boards and I believe some mountain bikes, snowshoes, potentially ice skates they've talked about. And then kind of the rest of the area in the northwest and in the middle of the building is just kind of back of house stuff. There's still going to be a ranger office in the very northwest corner. And then in the middle's mechanical, IT, storage. There is a catering kitchen for the events in the community room. And then at the very north end is the public restrooms and the restrooms associated with the community room. The idea here, we are not changing the look of the outside. Some of the things are going to be updated. The windows are getting new glass, but the windows themselves are the window frames and whatnot are staying. And that keeps the look the same as it's looked forever. The big overhead doors on the east side are being replaced, but they're being replaced in a similar manner, so they will look much nicer. The middle one is staying an overhead roll-up door, and then the two on the outside are going to be man doors. I think you can go to the next slide. I think I have a rendering next. Yeah, so there's two renderings from the lake side and then inside the community room. So the ceiling is staying with the barrel vaulted roof structure exposed. And the idea is keep it like accurate with what it has been, but update it for modern times. But the stone facade and all of that is staying the same. It'll be washed and cleaned and pointed up. But those are two renderings from our design team this week. And then I think you can go to the next slide. And the image on the left kind of shows the patio space around it. In the northeast, there'll be a spot for a food truck. And then in the middle on the east side is that event patio outside of the community room. And then in the southeast is a patio and planters and benches for the public's use at the stand. And then the trail alignment is not changing. We are going to use some colored concrete to indicate a slow zone and some signage to indicate a slow zone, but the trail itself is going to stay the same. We're adding some handicap spots and a dumpster enclosure. Yeah, and I think that might have been the end of my slides. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Anybody have questions? Angela?
The boathouse, easily converted that for boathouse when we get the lake.
Could you repeat
Will
that?
the boathouse be, yeah, will the boathouse be converted to an actual boathouse when the lake is dredged?
No.
Is that what you're asking? Did it, okay.
No, it won't be a boathouse. It's going to be a community event space.
Yeah, did you hear that? It's going to be a community event space. No. Not since I've been around. I bet you once upon a time, you
Back in
know,
the history,
30s or
it was
40s?
originally built as a boathouse, and I don't know the timeline of how long it's been. Other uses, it's been our operations team shop for quite a while. Nick, I'm not sure if you know how long though.
I
That's-
don't know the full history of that. I can try to find it out for the next meeting.
But there, at this point in time, there is no plans to renovate this again back to a boathouse.
Tom Brown. Talk safety that they're. The concessionaire, they're one concessionaire, run it. Year round. So, correct?
Concessions year round. Yeah,
That
Tom,
is currently the plan. We are just kind of in the info gathering right now. The RFP for that is going out here in the next couple of months. But that is what we're talking about right now, is that it'll be as well as booze, coffee, there's an espresso machine and a latte machine, all of that. But yes, the plan is for it to be year round.
Yes, Tom.
That being year round, then. Public restrooms would be available. So there will be people in the building, maintaining.
Nick, will
Yes.
the restrooms be open year round?
Yes, the public restrooms again are the plan is those would be available year round. Currently, that's our plan. We actually just had a meeting about that last week. So the restrooms are heated. They won't be open 24 hours a day. They'll be locked in the evenings and unlocked in the mornings. But yes, the plan is for them to be available as well as concessions. And they're hoping that they can rent winter sports gear at the outdoor rec area as well. The plan is to engage the community year round at the park, not just on nice days. One thing I didn't mention, the concessionaire is also being incentivized to offer free to the public programming in in that large community room and on that patio as a draw for when there's not a rental in that space. So there will be, the plan is, lectures, guest speakers, watch parties for sports events.
R&O meetings?
Sure. Yes.
Okay,
And
okay.
so
You heard it
that's-
here, folks.
that's
Yes.
that's definitely the plan, is to utilize this for a community space, and it doesn't always have to be rented out space. The community room is supposed to be available and utilized by the public. Now that doesn't mean you're just going to be able to walk in and use it for what you want to do at any given day. But there will be some coordination between the public and DPR and whoever wins the concession contract.
Gotcha. The question was, will there be drinking fountains? So free water offered?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I don't know if you can zoom in, but in the men's and women's restroom, there are drinking fountains on the exterior of the building. Those will be yeah, the plan is for those to be all season. Obviously, if there's a really bad cold snap, they might turn those off to avoid freezing pipes.
Nick, could you repeat if the drinking fountains will be seasonal or?
The plan is for the drinking fountains to be all season. They are on the exterior of the building, So there may end up being a time when they get turned off due to a cold snap. But right now the plan is they're all season fountains.
What's the capacity? Is it, are we doing it when we have to register on like one day or the other?
Nick, can you speak to the capacity of the community room, and then will the reservations be similar to the DPR facility rental process?
So the facility rental process will be very similar. The concessionaire will have to abide by, I think DPR calls it the permitting team, and that's who rents out the space. So they will use the same rules. The concessionaire, the plan right now is the concessionaire is going to manage that space. That may change and it may go back to DPR, in which case it would be exactly like the other spaces that DPR manages. And as for capacity, I think if I remember correctly, we're right about 120 in that space. So either a lecture or a wedding or something like that would be about that. And then there's room on the patio immediately east to extend that if you open the doors and make that outdoor space kind of part of the event. You could probably go up to like 200 people if it's indoor outdoor event.
How many parking spots are there currently by the boathouse? That's a good question.
We don't have the parking now.
I can't answer that. Yeah.
Like 20 or 50? 20? Yeah. Seems like about 20, doesn't it?
I feel like it's more than 20.
Is it? I don't know. I never
It's
parked
that
there.
whole kind of horseshoe. Yeah, I'm not sure offhand. Nick, I don't think you knew either.
I don't know. The spaces clouded in the upper left of that left-hand diagram, those are the only spaces we're touching as part of this project. Currently the ones across the street are the accessible spaces. We're moving those into that area shown and replacing them with just standard spaces. But parking is to be handled under a separate contract if and I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so that in general, that parking lot is staying the same. I just did a quick count of what we can see in this single line right in front of the boathouse is 13 spaces. And there's at least that much on the wings of this parking lot, so it's probably 30
I can
spaces.
try to.
But that's, none of that is being rented.
Yeah, the use is changing. Like, especially if people are going to rent it out on Saturday and Sunday for good weather.
That's a good question.
Absolutely.
Perhaps as we get responses to that request for information that's out right now, depending on which concessionaires or vendors submit information, that may help guide that decision making of how does parking need to change along.
I mean, that's what I think. Just thinking of your weddings. Every Saturday. And you have to sign up for that. It used to be like first weekend of whatever.
Yeah.
You go in person and where it's like, this is nice, but we don't have access to it. Functional.
Good point.
That's
I think it's what I heard Nick saying, and Nick, please correct me if I'm wrong, that some of this will be permitted through DPR system that you're referencing, much like our Wash Park Boathouse or other facilities. But also some of that could be managed by the concessionaire, that they could manage what groups are using that space. On those off-nights. I don't think
boat rentals at Wash. You see those things.
yeah, that's different, I think. And I don't know the answer to this question totally, and I'm not sure, Nick, if you do either, if there's other facilities run partly by a concessionaire like this proposal, or if this is a new
So it is, yeah, it is a new concept. It's been done by DPR or by Denver in the past. I don't believe currently it's being run by a concessionaire like this. However, our RFI that we did 2 weeks ago, we did in conjunction with the I can't think of the park. It's right downtown at 16th Street and I think Arapahoe. Um, Not Arapahoe. 16th Street and I don't remember now. The big park that is right by the old water tower building, or the clock tower building. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's Skyline Park, yeah.
Skyline, yeah, that one. Yep.
Park
So
being managed by the downtown.
yeah, so Skyline Park, they're having in their concession stand, they're doing the same thing we are. It is Arapahoe Street.
You're about wrapped up. Is there any other questions?
Any online questions? Okay, well,
Awesome.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you to both of you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
It's always great to hear what's going on in Sloan's Lake. This has been really informative.
Deb has our email address. If anything comes up later, I'll reach out to Deb and book to the meeting or Nick.
Yep, same thing with me. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the first I've heard of this bridge. being
Yeah, it's
redone.
new projects.
Yeah, they kind of have to.
And we do that.
They don't have a choice. Wow.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much. Hi. All right. Next, we have Lauren Swain talking about data centers.
So I have I'm driving on my computer with slides. What would you prefer?
Have you presented through Zoom before?
Oh, I mean, if I'm on your Zoom meeting, I could do that.
Yeah, so
Okay, so I should join the Zoom meeting.
yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
It's an interest. I've never presented on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
It produces the bathrooms are closed. For a school. But then, so it's a access. It's a 6-year-old birthday party, there's 40 people here. Bathrooms, they're locked because it was.
Oh,
I don't have this.
you don't have the information. Well,
I mean, I, yeah. But if it's not live, then it's the.
yeah, do you need the password?
Yeah.
Okay, do you see the merit? Do you see the, yeah, you should recognize it right away. And it's capital M but then lowercase, okay, so capital M, merit, so it's merit with a capital M. And then it's 23 with a capital X.
2, 3.
Capital X.
Oh. Okay, let's try to move it.
Do you have the Zoom information?
Oh, 2 T.
Yeah, 2 T's. That's okay. Yep.
3.
23X. with capital X, uh-huh. Yeah, okay, that's really good news.
I do have some driving.
Well, I don't have an adapter, this can, well, but it
I'll
won't,
try-
I don't,
I'll try
yeah,
this one.
okay. Then it would take me a bit to, like, I don't know if I could show that in Zoom. Let's see, so. Yeah. Yep, I'm, okay. So what, your PSR Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo, woo.
Okay.
Look at this, yes.
Hey,
Good job, Lauren.
yeah.
Okay, do you want to do the conversation style? Like, okay, do you want to do the conversation style the way?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay,
Oh, I understand.
oh, okay, whatever works for you.
Lauren Swain, and I'm program director of Solutions for Social Responsibility of Colorado. It's a Colorado chapter, PSR, a national group of physicians and health professionals and allies dedicated to address the gravest environmental health threats to human health and survival. I'm not a doctor, I am their advocate, hired advocate, so I work with a lot of different environmental groups and other health groups on issues related to largely air quality and environmental justice. So data centers are a hot issue these days with regard to air quality and environmental justice, the intersection of energy and climate. So that's why we're very interested these days. We've spent a lot of time fighting with fossil fuel industry to keep our air clean, whether it's production through fracking, pipelines going everywhere, or burning fossil fuels in your home, car. We don't spend transportation, but that's what we have a long history. We also have stuff for refineries. And we are in the ozone non-attainment area. That's three major reasons. Gas production and sector.
Can I have you just kind of, yeah, talk a little bit toward the
Oh,
speaker when
I'm
you
sorry.
can?
Yeah.
No, it's
Going
okay,
off.
you missed me telling.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that's
So try to stay close. Maybe I should. Might be better. Let's.
We've had such sound issues.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Right. So, I'm also a member of the Colorado Renewable Energy Society's policy committee, and we jointly co-intervene at mostly Excel utility proceedings, which might sound kind of dry, but it's not dry when your bill goes up all the time, and your arrogance to you all the time. But there's a relationship, unfortunately, between those two things that we might get into. But today we're here to talk about that. So, what are data centers? There have been data centers around for a long time. Colorado has 2 data centers, but they're not hyperscale data centers. They're not AI data. Some of them might do small scale AI calculation, processing, but they're mostly there to store all the things that you do online or use for specific business purposes. But the AI data centers, hyperscale data centers, can be the size of 70 football fields or more, and that's not at all uncommon. And they're even talking about gigascalers that are as big as that, which we hope won't happen. But they have a cooling system, as you can see here. They have generators. These are the diesel backup generators that we'll be talking about later. They're kind of each the size of a semi truck. And they have a lot of surveillance, a lot of light. They make a lot of noise, and they have very, very few employees. Once they're built, they just run and home, do their thing with very few employees, social security, et cetera, or technicians to replace anything that failed or whatever. But the construction give a lot of construction jobs. So some of the trades are very invested in the idea that we'll have data centers, and the utilities kind of like it too. And there are a number of sectors that promote them, but across the nation, as I'll get to in a minute, there are over 400,000 people fighting data centers. We're kind of lucky here in Colorado because we don't have very many hyperscale data centers, but they do have a lot of them back in Virginia. They have a lot in Texas. You can see the Colorado doesn't have much concentration at all. These are the top 30 states that have current and planned data centers, and Colorado doesn't even make lists, but they can still have a lot of impact. So our first hyperscale data center, and I believe still our only hyperscale data center right now, is QTS in Aurora, which is the energy equivalent to all of both. So imagine, all these homes and businesses, including some pretty big businesses. One building in Aurora is using equivalent energy. That's a big problem for health or climate. I believe that they do not. Yeah, but sometimes they do. These data centers sometimes do what's called behind the meter power generation, and they'll buy their own gas, they'll buy nuclear power, and sometimes they will go all renewable. And but this still takes up a lot of space, a lot of resources. But I'm pretty sure this hyperscaler is on the go. I can confirm that for you. So you're showing the opposition is going to data centers with 400,000 Americans involved in Facebook groups that are fighting data center build out. See, they're concentrated in the East and in Texas, with data centers are in 39 states. We do have they don't actually show all the opposition groups in Colorado, but there's 2 that show that we have plenty more. The local health impact of data centers come from those diesel backup generators in large part, and particulate matter that's released from diesel, like a diesel truck, it's like having a diesel truck parked in your neighborhood. That releases particulate matter and nitrogen oxide that from the truck, and these aggravate increases the asthma, COPD, other cardiovascular. For the neighboring residents, the farther you are from them, less at risk you are, but it still builds up in our atmosphere. And the Foresight data center, which is a small data center that isn't a real hyperscaler, but people are frustrated with it, and because we'll have 14 generators in close proximity to senior living the health. Details of that. Data center energy demands often slow the transition away from coal power plants. They exist. It can slow the transition up coal to either gas or renewable. And it increases the use of gas power generation. Sometimes gas can be faster, sometimes renewables are faster, they can heat, and sometimes utilities find it expeditious to build more gas generation. That means more pollution for our climate, our GHG pollution that affects our climate as well as the air pollution that affects our health. So both of these, whether it's slowing the transition, coal power or increasing gas, again, you get more of these emissions, the ozone precursors that harm our respiratory and cardiovascular health across multi-county regions. Counting our ozone issues are not attained across 9 counties around the world. And it's not, I think that the tragedy of respiratory disease is a very serious thing. But in case you're just counting money, it's costly to have a lot of respiratory illness in our country, and unchecked without regulations. It's predicted that we'll have up to $20 billion in respiratory health costs by 2028, additional $20 billion per year. Yeah, not very long from now, right? Yeah, nationwide, if we don't solve this problem. There's also noise and light pollution coming from these facilities. The noise impacts from the diesel generators and cooling systems constant that could exceed 90 decibels. And above that level, they can be harmful to hearing, create ambient noise, which disrupts our sleep patterns. And then the light, they have 24-hour surveillance lighting, which generates light pollution. That whole night lighting disrupts the sleep-wake cycle. And one thing I didn't know until recently, but light pollution in the general way, like overnight skies, when skies get dark, the ozone pollution dissipates overnight if it's dark. But this would be a major factor in a lot of these that would prevent the darkness that actually was mitigated. So the core site facility in Lowville, Verde, that's roughly at just north of I-70, York Street and areas around there. That is where the smaller data center just showed up unannounced. City council, they had some kind of deal, and the neighborhood was angry. And one of the reasons they're angry is because these generators. Sometimes they run them. In some places in the country, they run the diesel generators just because power gets expensive, or for a lot of reasons that they shouldn't. So the neighborhood is up, and they've been organizing and really pushing back on these projects because there's supposed to be 2 more of these buildings. The 3 buildings altogether would almost be as big as the Aurora building that I mentioned, which doesn't have as much population around it. This North Denver area is disproportionately impacted community with highways and Suncor refinery, and many other industrial. So much so that there have been reports on how it includes most polluted codes. And so after pushback earlier this year, Denver now has passed the date anymore. May 18th. Larimer County and Logan County have moratoria, and Jefferson County passed a moratorium on data centers the day after. So there's a high level of awareness of the problems and the application to data centers. One of the reasons, again, is that they contribute to massive new energy demand, and that makes energy expensive, that makes energy often polluting, and this is how much energy use is supposed to go up between 25 and 29, most of it attributed to data center growth, not population growth or increased use of energy as much as nearly as much as the data centers. And they often use frac gas. We already have a problem with our oil and gas production in Colorado, which is largely conducted using fracking, and that is contributing to our ozone levels, and it's very, also very, there's a lot of hazardous air release. We live close to these things, and you're at risk of the same respiratory health effects and leukemia because of the benzene emissions that are associated with the oxidation. Not, you know, it's not a high rate of leukemia, but it's elevated. That's associated. Childhood. And even birth attacks, pregnancy complications can result from those exposures. So also with this energy demand, Colorado's climate plan, which we have an aspirational plan to be 100% renewable in our electricity by 2050. And we have an actual statutory requirement to be 80% renewable in our energy production by 2030. And we're doing pretty well out of the country on that. And we'll throw a wrench in it if we start trying to catch up with Texas. So another problem is water demands. And this story was reported in Politico that the data center drained 30 million gallons of water unnoticed until the residents complained about low water pressure. So people tend to freak out when these data centers come close to them, and they think they're not going to have it, that they'll actually lose their power or lose their water. You know, I haven't really, I'm not living next to one, so I don't know how likely that is to happen. And in the meantime, the water can get expensive and get expensive. So this legislative session, which was has a bill introduced SB 26, 1 and 2 that would have helped protect Colorado's health data centers, limited the conditions for use of those diesel generators, how much they could run each year, and require them to use the cleanest fuel available. It would require the data centers to be responsible for securing own renewable energy resources, either through Excel or building themselves, so that consumers would not be put in the bill and our air quality climate would be protected. And it set standards that would help local governments address the light pollution impacts. And it also, so this is more detail about how it addresses the energy demands. It required more the input in those disproportionately required tracking of water use, promoting efficiency. But it didn't count. HB 261030 attempted to attract more data. So there's these opposing forces in our legislature. It's not necessarily based on party. It depends on how pro-business or corporate each of our legislators is, where they stand on. So how much they think that, you know, who do they decide is their constituent, who's funding them, what's their agenda. It is not strictly based on party. You know, we have one dominant party in our legislature, and they're divided. So 1030 was attempting to attract more data centers with tax incentives, giving a 20 or 30 year complete exemption for state sales and use taxes. This is at the time that our legislator needed to cut their budget by $1.5 billion just the coming year alone. It would have cost us $58 million to implement this at minimum. It didn't pass either. One of the big problems with this you know, there were certain hoops that the data centers had to jump through to get certified and get this exemption, but that was managed by a pro of data center trade off, not by the or the air quality. So they didn't really have a structure for enforcement of any. And the only lever of power that our agents had was to yank away incentives. They could still do whatever they wanted. Incentives if they're bad, if they don't want to go to the program. That's the only lever. So we opposed this, you know, our opposed this, and we successfully fought it back. And the other side successfully fought back what we call the center bill, the guardrail. So that's this is just another slide that talks about one we opposed, one we supported, and both fought. And then just so you know, there's other ways to address data center impacts, especially on energy and energy use and energy costs. The Public Utilities Commission right now with a large load tariff proceeding that's intended to help protect some of these extra costs that the data centers will bring to, you know, to our power generation, whether it's transmission or new generation, intended to keep costs from going up for consumers. And I think it doesn't look too bad for that. But there we'll be navigating that. And that's my presentation, and I have some time for Q&A if anybody has questions for me. Thanks.
Tom?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The Liberty of Swansea and Liberty of Berkeley and Florida.
Right.
Habitat community built a square block of property, Elizabeth Columbine in the 40s, south by 70. Because the air was so poor, they installed air conditioners in all of the units because the didn't want people to be fans.
Oh my God, that's really indicative. And yes, if you have an air conditioner, you don't have to crack your window and let all that air, bad air in either.
This was 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow.
So it's only
Right? And you know, how much farther away are we really? Not that.
I mean, that's not the, that block of habitat is fairly close, you know, close to North Street and
Yeah.
right in that area.
Yes, absolutely. The good one or the bad one? That was unfortunately and sadly, the representative of that very area, Alex Verde. And he almost cried when he had to withdraw the bill because he didn't have enough votes. He's like, you guys are just ruining everything. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, he has this grand vision of our future, and we, you know, where we can become more like Texas or like, you know, we don't want to miss out.
So it sounds like there's not that many jobs involved.
Only
Based
in
on what you were
construction,
saying.
the construction
Okay,
trades,
true.
they get a lot of short-term jobs, and they are used to short-term jobs. They live for short-term jobs, and they have a lot of money and resources. I call them the utility aligned trades. They follow Excel and they do what Excel wants, and Excel is happy to sell them facility, but they're gonna, you know, I don't think they're uncooperative in trying to protect consumers. They can get our money in lots of other ways. They do. They're trying right now to raise their rates and also raise their return on equity, so they don't have to necessarily be payments for the data centers, because they're going to dig however they can. You know, it's really they call it pancaking of rates. So anybody wants to chat about sales behavior in a more general way, I'm happy to get it. But tonight there was opportunity to testify against some of the rate increases, and I could share with any of you more of those types of
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes.
It didn't address the fact that they use, to movie centers.
Yeah, I touched on the water very briefly, that, yeah, they leaked 30 million gallons without even seeing. I didn't go into the water a lot because it's not my specialty, but the water is a major, major problem. That's why they like being in Virginia. I don't know why they like being in Texas, probably it's good incentives, but they depend on a lot of water. You don't have it. Our Colorado River is drying up. We're in a major drought. So this is highly inappropriate for us. So the last thing we want to do is incentivize them to come here. They're starting to trickle in, and it's very problematic to pass some kind of regulation like SB 102, which was kind of modest, you know, even though we were very much behind it. We'll need to do more than that, but we can't live without some kind of brakes on the energy use and the water use. The bill itself should have done more to address the water. That it was going to count the water use, promote efficiency, but not require it. So we have a chance to do better in the next session. But unfortunately, there's a lot of pressure on that legislator to compromise it. She almost introduced a compromise bill. She plans to start with this pretty objectionable compromise bill next year because she didn't get the support of the vote she needed on the committee, and she's so, you know, intensely deciding, wanting us to have some kind of protection. So we all really need to pile on our legislators. That we don't really, you know, we don't want this. We don't benefit that much from this. We're helping businesses. The big purpose of these, the major purpose, is help businesses surveil everything that all of humanity does and create new stuff that works for them and their clients, whether that's marketing stuff or adjusting their prices for each of us to get the most out of us, or using our art and our words to create new advertising or programs that advertising on. You know, it's about the big bucks and putting us out of jobs so they don't have to hire so many people. There's a lot of negative effects of AI that these facilities are facilitating or making possible. So how much do we really get out of it? You know? But there's some legislation that labels data centers as essential infrastructure. That compromise bill is going to say essential infrastructure. We can't have that, you know. We can't be calling something that is purely for business, almost entirely for business purposes, essential infrastructure, so that it has to be our fire departments putting out their fires and all that stuff. They need to pay their way. So these local governments are going to figure out how to do that or how to stop it. Longmont passed a ban. They passed a ban and they said if the data center uses more than 5% of what our current utilities can provide, it can't, then it can't come. It gets an immediate no. So they actually banned the hyperscale data centers. Longmont just recently had it. Oh. I would get in touch with your legislators and your city council members immediately. If you are in place with the moratorium, thank them for passing that moratorium and tell them you want to ban. If you want to ban, you know, if, let's say everybody passed the ban and these things couldn't happen, don't you think they'd get a little bit more efficient? Maybe they would solve some of their problems, figure out how to use less water, less electricity, and everything else. We're letting them be sloppy by letting them slop into our communities. Who knows how much better they could be, how much smaller they could be, how much less impactful they could be, what better neighbors they could be if we stood up for our rights, right? We'll never know if we don't.
Very much agree with that. That's the best comment of the night.
Oh, thank you.
We got to keep pushing back no matter what. And, you know,
Right.
there's going to be more and more pressure.
There's more and more pressure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So-
because these companies have so much money and they're paying a lot of property taxes. But what happens when the bubble bursts? This is all funded by private equity. Everybody knows there's a bubble. How bad is that bubble going to be? Are these buildings going to be sitting there taking up huge amounts of space, resources, and dwindling, just leaving? There's also the e-waste. They have to replace all the servers every couple of years. Where all those dead servers can go, to the landfill, and then we have to pay for the landfill. This could all just blow up. The bubble blow up at any time. Don't know what we're signing up for. We need more time to figure all this out. And we need to push back on these entities to do better, be more efficient, be more fair.
Yeah, we kind of have to wrap it up.
Okay,
Um,
no problem.
Jennifer adds, they argue that they have a cooling core.
Yeah, they have all kinds of fancy cooling systems to reduce the amount of water they use and with more chemicals. But those chemicals never leak. There's never any problem with chemicals. What? Is there a problem with their chemicals? Are you kidding?
We do not need more air pollution. either.
Anyway, yeah, more chemicals and less water are a useful thing, but they still use.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Lauren. Thanks for coming. I see Alessandra Dominguez joined us.
I'm here.
Hi, are you going to present?
I am, if you'll let
Okay.
me.
Yep. Of course. Alessandra Dominguez is from Amanda Sandoval's office to give us some updates with District 1.
That's right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great. All right, here are the June updates. Councilwoman Sandoval has office hours next Friday, 11 to 1 p.m., and those are in person. I think there's one spot available. So if you want to talk with her one-on-one, and I will also be there, sign up ASAP. We will also have office hours in July, and those get posted on the 1st of July in our newsletter that goes out at like 6 a.m. So if you sign up for our newsletter, you'll be the first to know about it. Let's see, we have the Far Northwest Neighborhood Plan, and I believe that there has been a presentation by Fernando at least 2 meetings ago. Regardless, that is a neighborhood plan that shapes how the neighborhood is going to look in the next 10 to 20 years. So the project is currently in its early stages and will officially kick off the 18-month process this spring. The survey is actually still open. I just got an update about that. However, the application to be part of the advisory committee is not. So if you'd like to sign up for updates, you absolutely can. You can also watch a presentation that they gave about that to City Council, and you can submit a comment and question or check out their webpage. We have some exciting free events coming up. The first one is going to be yoga in the park. That is next Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. at the historic Elitch Carousel Dome. So that will go on rain or shine. So if it's super sunny, we're 100% shaded. If it rains, and it has, then we stay 100% dry. There are no issues there. Just bring a mat, a friend, spread the word. You can RSVP for a slot. You certainly don't have to. It just helps us know how many people are coming. There are 2 sessions in English, 1 bilingual and 1 in Spanish. However, yoga is universal. You don't really need to know what language it's in. Everyone knows how to how to lay down at the very least. And this is yoga for all different experience levels. So if you just want to go there and try and touch your toes, totally welcome to do it. And I hope to see you there. The next event that we have coming up on the calendar is our free concert in the park. That's at Rocky Mountain Park. That's Friday, June 26th from 7 to 8:15 p.m. The Denver Municipal Band will be playing a free concert. There will be a food truck, but you are also welcome to bring your own picnic. And that's just a really fun, family-friendly event that we hope to see everybody at. And I need your help for our last standalone event. That's our movie in the park. That's going to be in August. But I would really love to know which movie you want to see. So if you scan that QR code, it will take you to the survey and you can let me know which movie is your favorite that you want us to play at this year's Movie in the Park and Resource Fair. And then this is your last chance to give us feedback on which park you want us to clean this year. So the park cleanup is going to be Saturday, September 19th. Which park? Up to you, up to community. The park that gets the most responses is the park that we are going to clean. This is a cleanup sponsored by our office, Councilwoman Sandoval's office. This is not like a giveaway to a specific RNO. This is specifically which park do community members want to see be cleaned. And everybody that shows up will get tickets to a free show at the Federal or Oriental. Some exciting news in the way of sidewalks. Dottie wants to, oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. That's my fault. Anyhow, Dottie wants to hear from you about how they can be better partners with RNOs. And I know that is something I certainly hear a lot of feedback about. So Dottie has taken it upon themselves to regularly release newsletters. There's also a survey, and I encourage everybody to take the survey to share your experience with Dottie and how they're connecting you with the right resources and the right feedback. So now we're going to go to sidewalk updates. So the sidewalk implementation plan is underway. And that is the plan that Dottie is using to build and maintain a complete sidewalk network for everybody. Something fun that they're doing is a sidewalk stamp contest. So you can submit whatever design you want stamped into the sidewalk. They're having a big competition for it. And the final date to submit that is Friday, July 31st at 11:59 p.m. So it's open to anybody who lives in Denver. And then again, if you would like to take a survey sharing your input on the benefits and trade-offs of different approaches as to how they will maintain and complete that sidewalk, I do have a survey for that. There is also coming up a Zoom webinar Wednesday, July 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. They also have an in-person event. That's going to be Friday, July 17th, 4 to 6 p.m. At the Tennyson Street Fair kickoff. So that's going to be at 41st and Tennyson. Some Oslan pool updates. So I'm not sure how many community members have heard, but unfortunately during pre-season maintenance, Parks and Rec staff discovered that the pool was losing over 16,000 gallons of water each day. Obviously we're in a drought and there's never an ideal condition for this, but if ever there were a worse one, it's this. So unfortunately the pool at Oslan Rec Center is not going to be open for use this year. Funding has already been identified, and Councilwoman Sandoval really advocated for this pool to be in the Vibrant Denver bond so it can be fully replaced, not just repaired. That project is underway, and those renovations are going to be part of the Vibrant bond. In the meantime, there are other pools available, but we recognize that it is hard for residents to get transportation to and from. With the budget being the way it is, there's just not a whole lot the city is able to do. But there are pools available, and this pool is going to get a full replacement. If you would like to be directly updated about this project, I do have a link for you. I also have contacts for your Denver Police Department. So that's the commander, the lieutenant, and Officer Diaz. I also have several different ways to report crime. So you can call or text 911. There's also a non-emergency line. You can visit their website. You can walk into a station. And you can also submit tips anonymously if you don't want to get too involved in whatever you're witnessing. I also have some resources regarding where your voice can be heard. The first one is the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure Advisory Board meeting. So it's the second Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m. It's all online via Zoom. You just sign up to speak about any topic related to transportation and infrastructure. We also have a Parks and Rec Advisory Board, otherwise known as PRAB. That's the second Wednesday of each month at 5:30 via Zoom. So anything Parks and Rec related, again, you just sign up. And we do meet with our PRAB members regularly. We tell them things we hear at RNOs. They tell us things they've heard at PRAB. And then we really try and work together to advocate for what we're hearing in community to improve our parks and rec. Lastly, we have the CAG, and that is the Community Advisory Group. That's the third Wednesday of each month. So if you have any issues regarding Denver Police Department, if you want more patrols in your neighborhood, if you want crackdowns on speeding, if you feel like there's an uptick in crime, or if you want to form a neighborhood watch, anything of that sort, they do have in-person meetings. Their next meeting is actually, I believe, tomorrow night at 6 p.m., and that's held in person at 1311 West 46th Avenue. So that is their headquarters for Denver Police District 1. They also have access to like statistics for crime. So if there's anything that you're curious about year over year or month over month, they should be able to give you that information as well. They might not be able to do it off the cuff, but they will follow up with you and get that over to you. Also, did you know that at any point, every single Denverite has 3 representatives? So there's your council person, in this case, that's Councilwoman Sandoval, but you also have council members Verde and Gonzalez Gutierrez. That being said, Councilmember Parody is resigning effective August 5th. So on the November ballot, there will be a column for whoever is running to replace her. So you will not be without a council member at large for long. But as of today, you still have 3. And then lastly, are you subscribed to our newsletter? If so, that's awesome. Thank you so much. If not, you can just scan this QR code, sign up for the newsletter. This information and more information regarding the district at large is in there. It's just great if we can get more engagement, because then you can see those surveys a little bit earlier, instead of having to wait for me to let you all know at this wonderful Sloan Lake meeting. And with that, I'm going to wait for any questions people may have. Deb, you might have to let me know if there's somebody in the audience raising their hand. I can't see super well.
Not at the moment. That was a very thorough
Great.
presentation. I think you probably, yeah, well done.
I do what I can. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. You got us off the hook. Appreciate it.
No problem. As soon as Berkeley Regis was done, I jumped in my car and I'm at the parking lot of Regis on the computer to make sure I'm on this meeting.
That's dedication. Appreciate it so much.
No problem. We
Hope
do
to
it
see you
because we
next
care.
month. Okay,
Yes.
bye now. I'm gonna go ahead and, well, it's looking like, not till early spring. Yeah, so, but this is obviously a rendering. That's pretty fancy. It's beautiful, actually, if it's really gonna look like that. All over the place. Hopefully there'll be locals who are riding bikes, scootering, whatever, right? Walking, I'll be walking over there. Yes, that part isn't, I mean, there was a plan for some live music once in a while and with an ending time at 10 p.m. Now, I don't know if this is going to end up happening. I mean, I'm going to be, well, we definitely need a good neighbor agreement, so I'll be all over that. And as far as, I think a lot needs to happen before they just open up and expect to not be, have everybody on board with it, right? So many people are really excited about this, including me, but a lot of people probably aren't. And so you might have to have an actual meeting about that at some point. With that topic specifically, so. Okay, this is the 23rd Avenue studio. Yeah, this is the plan. Business plan. No, actually, that's just, I didn't know what to call it. That's what it is. So I don't know what they're going to call it. Yeah, I just spoke with him yesterday. Well, I spoke with him, we emailed, and that's the latest. So I don't know, those of you have driven by and looked at it, you can see that they've started it. They've got it all fenced off, and they've started, but they clearly have plenty of time now because they're in permit mode. So we'll see. I'm assuming. Tom?
By 17 units. And so, so 17.
Yes, I mean, but we don't live next door to them too, right? So, I mean, we'll have to see if his plans change a little bit, but yes, it's very exciting. And we need more businesses right around us, right? Like, so I think we'll probably meet there, perhaps, depending. But so you guys saw this part about the self-serve beverage, food vendors, fire pits, the whole thing. So let's see. And this is the indoors. This kind of surprised me. I mean, this is, I've never seen one of these beer dispensers, and there's clearly a large selection. Yeah. So, did you like it?
Then I worried. Take away jobs.
I doubt they would change, but yeah. Yeah, that looks a lot different, doesn't it, than when it was a sculpture studio. So, and then you guys, I don't know any more than you do about this, but I did look up Crispy Cone, which is coming to the old, where the Petunias was. So 3000 West 23rd Avenue. And this was featured on Shark Tank, like it says in the window, and they're pretty fancy cones. Cone is made out of fresh hand rolled dough wrapped in a wooden dowel, then grilled rotisserie style until the golden brown and crispy and coated with cinnamon sugar. And I guess they're fully customizable, but they look kind of ridiculous, don't they? Like, oh my gosh. Ridiculous, like a lot of sugar. A lot of ice cream. Yeah. A lot of cone. Yeah. So, but I can't get any more information, you know, what the timeline is. There's nobody, I wrote the company, they're not, you know, talking about it yet. So I'm assuming this will really happen. But I, otherwise I just saw it in the window like you guys. Other than that, let's see, we really have run over again, and I don't, you know, Alessandra talked about the area plan. Oh, here's our happy hour. July 1st at Chili Verde on the patio. And for those who haven't been on the patio of Chili Verde, it's wonderful. That was one of our first happy hours. I think it was our first, wasn't it? Or maybe not, but second one. Yeah, it was great. We love that. So there it is. So, and I thought this was a great, this guy was, I was walking around Sloan's Lake. What? Gotta love it. That's pretty creative. And then there's a cookie chase Saturday, July 11th. There's a few runs. There's a heart run. And then I saw this. This is the last thing, and then I'll let you get out of here. Not this one. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, I'm not seeing what I was talking about. Oh, this. So there's a survey where you can shape the future trails of Denver. And those of us that like to walk around a lot and maybe are getting tired of all the crowds at Sloan's Lake, maybe some of these trails would be the answer, right? Like, so if you guys want to give input about this, there it is, bit.ly/Greenway 2026. And I think that's really all we have. As I mentioned, next month, we have the two main employees of the Dragon Boat Festival coming to we're having a conversation with them. She's not just going to come tell us about it. And it's going to be pretty interesting. So, and one thing I will tell you in advance, no matter how shallow the water gets, they are going to be coming in late July. Yeah, 29th. Oh, August 29th. They're going to come even if they can't do the races. They're going to still have all the vendors and all of that. So well, that's great news. And there is more water in it. I guess some of the rains have really helped. I can see the difference. So I'm going to show you something real quick. We can find it. Is it this? No, never mind. It's not. Oh, here. So these don't really show any. So I think that shows how low it got. And I can't see these now, or just maybe the very tops of them. You can just see the birds and they look like they're standing on the water. So that shows you that we are getting more water. Will it last? So anyway, y'all, thank you so much again for coming tonight. It's great to see all of you. Oh, hey, Judy. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tom. Nice. Judy. Oh, no, no, thank you for asking. No, that's the good news. Yeah, uh-huh, yeah. Good night, everyone.
There's.
Why do I know you? Yeah. Co-work space. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, go right ahead.
I know.
Ah, I know you from somewhere.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And then I
alright.
was timing to shoot something. It's like, oh, it's fine. I was did. It's like a garage. For